Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy, and I'm the owner of multiple six-figure businesses, including several Etsy print-on-demand shops. Today, I wanted to talk about a recent question that someone actually asked me directly in the Printify Facebook group. I tend to hang out there a lot and try to answer questions when I can, so make sure you join that group if you use Printify. But this question was specifically in response to an article that was recently posted about me on Printify's blog, sharing my story. And in that story, I talked about some of my batching methods, contributing to how I scaled super fast to six figures in just 10 months and generated over 700 listings in less than 5 months. Angela's question to me was, how do you handle SEO research when you batch? Looking for keywords for each listing is the most time consuming, and I don't disagree. So for today's video, I want to talk about how I front load my efforts for doing research, thinking about niches and target customers, so that when I actually get to batching for designs and getting listings actually posted, I can move through that process a lot faster. To begin with, the step of identifying a target customer and putting in some research effort to validate your ideas is such an important concept to understand for print on demand, and one that is very commonly neglected by new sellers. And that makes sense. You don't know what you don't know. That being said, a lot of new sellers will simply design based on what they like, and they combine that by using keywords that they would use if they were searching for something similar. And that's fine if you just plan on having a small side hobby, or if you're not terribly concerned with sales and you just want to have some fun with it and see what happens. That's okay too. But let's be honest here. That's rarely the case when someone is actually starting a business and is going into this with the hopes of making some real money and profit from it. Which means the problem with the strategy of designing products based around what you like as the seller means that you're leaving out a really important factor in business, your buyer. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that typically I do all of my niche and keyword research first before I start doing the design and batching. In past videos, you've seen me use tools like eRank and Etsy Hunt. You've also seen me do research directly within Etsy as well. And this is because by identifying a profitable niche first, the keywords themselves really then become more about understanding the buyers in that niche and how they will search for things to buy on Etsy. The better that you can understand your buyer in your niche, the easier it will ultimately be to come up with keywords that they're going to use for their searches and subsequently products and designs that they will actually want to buy. Let's look at this like a funnel and I'll show you what I mean. So let's take moms for an example. It's one that I can relate to. I'm a boy mom of a 9-year-old. And so if we're thinking about this and I think, you know what, I'm a mom, I know what moms are going to like on a shirt. Moms like shirts, right? And that's true. But if you try and add a general mom or mama shirt, I guarantee you that on Etsy, it's not going to sell. And that's because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of other mom shirts out there. And because they are being sold by bigger shops that have a proven track record that are probably been around a lot longer than your new shop, their listings with those designs are going to rank higher no matter what you do. And so because there's so many of them, I like to think of them as all of these mom shirts and all of these mom ideas floating around at the top of that funnel. It's really big and there's a lot going on with it. With broad terms like that and broad niches like that, you're not really peeling back any unique layers about that customer. You know that they're a mom, and that's about it. So let's go deeper. What about moms that are dog owners? It's a bit more specific, and there's a chance that you could rank a little bit higher with a term like that. But it's still pretty broad, at least in terms of Etsy competition. But let's think about what we know about dog owners. I know that dog owners of specific breeds love to buy products that are specific to the dogs that they have. So let's combine that concept and let's pick a breed of dogs and let's consider dachshund dog moms. With a little bit of basic Google research, or even with what I might already know about the concept of dachshund dog owners, one thing I know is that they use the term doxy as a nickname when referring to their dachshund. And of course, many dachshund owners refer to them as wiener dogs as well. They also like to identify their dachshunds by either their name or a nickname that they might have for them, so there's some personalization possibilities there as well. So with a little bit of effort, we've now worked our way down that funnel and have identified a much more specific customer. We can identify some of their likes, their dislikes. We can think of keywords that are going to resonate with them. We can think of some designs that will be relevant to what they might be interested in. And then by linking all of that together into long tail keyword phrases, we can create stronger titles so that these listings can then be found by this target customer. So for this example, the beginning title of a Dachshund sweatshirt might be something along the lines of Dachshund Mom Sweatshirt for Doxy Owner, or Wiener Dog Mom Birthday Gift. So then when I go back and think about Angela's question, and this is how I answered her in the Facebook group, my approach is really about understanding the target customer, designing products that will resonate with that customer, and then utilizing keywords that are relevant to that customer and that they would be very likely to search Etsy with. And then optimizing that within my shop so that phrases in my title, keywords in my tags, and keywords in my listing descriptions all work together to help listings like that rank better within Etsy. This optimization is ultimately where SEO, or search engine optimization, ultimately comes into play to help you rank higher, because it's going to help your shop and your listings more closely match with what a buyer is searching for. And if you're not sure how Etsy ranking works, be sure to check out my SEO video from Module 3 of my free masterclass course that's here on YouTube, where I specifically walk through what that means and how you can prioritize your efforts on Etsy. Now, we walk through this example as what I've used myself in one of my shops. But what do you do if you have no idea where to start in terms of niches or a potential customer? One method is to simply start exploring. One of my favorite hacks for doing this is actually by starting within eRank. By looking at the competition tab, you can actually go in and search for stores. I typically look for stores that have started within the last 2 or 3 years, and then within that I'll sort it by category. Because my main focus is around clothing and apparel for my own print-on-demand shops, I can filter it by that. You can also filter it by the other categories that are out on Etsy. Point is, I find a large shop, and then I want to look for a shop that has lots of sales and lots of listings. If I find a shop and I look at it and they have a lot of copyright or trademark issues, I skip that shop. But once I find one that has a lot of listings and a lot of sales, the next thing that I do is I take a look at the tag analyzer function within eRank. This won't generate all of the tags that the store is using because typically these are very large stores, but it's going to generate a pretty big portion of them. I'm all about using data, and this is a great way to do that. Then once you're in the tag analyzer, I sort it by competition. The highest competition is going to be at the top, and then I start going down from there. And then I'm also comparing that to the search volume of each of these keywords and tags. As I find some good possibilities within this list, I make sure I save those keywords. You can do that directly within eRank by using their keyword lists, or you can just jot them down. Most of the time, these keywords are going to be specific to a niche or a sub-niche, and that's what we want. And this becomes then typically my starting point for researching each of these niches and getting to know these potential buyers better. The other method that I like to use, especially for someone who is just starting out, is to start with yourself. In my free course that I mentioned, this is actually exactly the process that I use, and we walk through this process as the framework across the first 4 modules. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, this is not your typical Etsy or print-on-demand 101. We knock out the 101 in the first module, but everything beyond that is my very intentional framework, right down to the homework and worksheets that I include as part of it. Where the very first step, the very first homework that you get in the course is to think about 3 hobbies you or someone you know have, 3 professions that you or someone you know have, and 3 topics that you're passionate about. Why do we do this? Because guess what? These are all going to be potential niches. I'm not saying they're all going to be profitable. You'll still need to research them and often start to narrow down the focus, similar to what we did with moms and getting all the way down to Dachshund dog moms. And we walk through all of that too. But the point of the exercise is that it gets your mind thinking about topics that you're familiar with and can relate to. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be your target audience for whatever you're designing for. Most of the time, we're not our own target audience. But the concept is really about getting comfortable with the process of identifying a niche, which is your target customer, identifying keywords that buyers in this niche will be using to search for, identifying types of designs that will resonate with these buyers and that they'll be interested in, and then putting all of that together in the form of making those actual designs and getting those products listed so that you start seeing sales faster and you get that forward momentum in your shop. I can't stress enough that you need to have a target customer in mind as you are designing products and as you are using keywords in your listed products. And remember, you can have multiple target customers if you have a general shop. That is a strategy that I've used so that I can maximize my listings and maximize the number of customers that I'm able to reach. Even with the example of dog moms, in one of my newer shops that I created so that I can show behind the scenes for this YouTube channel, I have an entire section of that shop devoted to dachshund dog moms. I've got another one for golden doodle dog moms, I've got another one for beagle moms, and another one for Bernese mountain dogs. Each of these has little nuances that target that specific customer with the goal of appealing to them directly, not just a general broad dog mom audience. The beauty in this approach too is that because I've taken multiple segments of a larger niche of dog moms, I can actually take many of the same designs that I've used across different dog breeds and apply those to some of the other dog breeds. And the beauty of this is that because I've targeted different segments within this larger niche of dog moms, I can take, for example, the batch of designs that I did for dachshund dog moms, make a few tweaks, update the design so that they target a different dog breed mom, swap out some of the nicknames, swap out some of the images, and so on. This again is just another one of those little things that helps me be super efficient with my time. It helps me design a lot faster and move through that batching really fast. That little bit of extra research up front really helps me understand my audience better so that I'm designing for them and not for me. Each listing needs to be targeted in both the design and the keyword strategy. And as Angela accurately pointed out, this is not going to be the fastest part of building your shop, but it's the step you should be taking before you sit down to actually start designing for your listings, because it ends up being a domino effect. And when I've used this strategy to build my own shops, I'm able to batch designs a lot faster. I'm able to get listings up a lot faster because I've done that research up front and I know exactly who my target customers are. And not only that, but when you're actually using this process, your designs and your listings are going to be much more aligned with your ideal customer. Because as the saying goes, if you try to appeal to everybody, you're really appealing to nobody. And this couldn't be more true for print on demand. I hope this has been helpful. If you want to learn more about all of my different strategies that I use to scale my Etsy print on demand business to over 6 figures in less than 10 months, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. And in the meantime, you can also make sure you've checked out my dedicated playlist for my masterclass course that is completely free here on YouTube. It's jam-packed with all of my strategies, tips and tricks, and even homework to help you crush your print-on-demand goals. As always, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. And if you're looking for more helpful ways to continue the work and stay connected, I invite you to join me over on Patreon, where I provide a membership to get exclusive access to my Google Drive with all sorts of wonderful tools and resources that I've created and continue adding to every month. It's also a place to join conversations as I think about future content and how I can serve you with the most amount of value. I also hope that you'll smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on all of the exciting upcoming content that I've got planned for this channel. And finally, I invite you to check out my brand new website where you can subscribe to my own email list, follow along on new blog content that I will be building, and access other freebies that I have available on there to support you on your journey.